Hey everyone, welcome back to Steve's View. Today I want to talk about something that doesn't get nearly enough serious discussion in California politics, and honestly, not enough honest discussion nationwide either. This isn't going to be a shouting match. It's not a rant. It's a conversation. One that I think a lot of Americans, left, right, and center, actually want to have. Let's start with a simple question. Why is it that in the United States, you need an ID to fly on a plane, open a bank account, buy alcohol, apply for government benefits, or even pick up a prescription, but in the largest state in the country, you don't need one to vote? That question alone doesn't make you anti-democracy. It doesn't make you racist, and it definitely doesn't make you extreme. It makes you curious, and curiosity is where democracy is supposed to begin. California currently does not require voters to show photo identification at the polls. That's not a conspiracy theory. That's not misinformation. That's a fact. Now, there's a proposal, often referred to as the California Voter ID Initiative, that aims to change that. The idea is simple. Amend the state constitution so that future elections require voters to verify their identity. Supporters argue this would strengthen confidence in elections. Opponents argue it could suppress turnout. Notice something important here. Both sides claim to be defending democracy. So the real question isn't who loves democracy more. The real question is what actually makes an election trustworthy. In most democracies around the world, Europe, Asia, even many developing countries, voter identification is standard. It's not controversial, it's boring. It's administrative, but in the United States, and especially in California, it has become radioactive. Why? We're often told that voter ID requirements are discriminatory, that minorities are somehow less capable of obtaining identification, that asking for ID is a modern version of voter suppression. Let's slow down here. If you truly believe that millions of Americans, especially Black, Latino, and Asian Americans, are incapable of getting an ID, what does that say about how you view those communities? Because to live in modern America without any form of identification is almost impossible, and courts have repeatedly ruled that voter ID laws, when properly implemented, do not automatically violate civil rights. So maybe, just maybe, this debate deserves more nuance than slogans. Here's something both sides should agree on. Democracy doesn't survive on turnout alone. It survives on trust. People need to believe elections are fair, even if their side loses. When large portions of the public believe the system is rigged, manipulated, or careless, that's when democracies weaken. You don't fix that problem by telling people to shut up. You fix it by strengthening the system. Voter ID isn't about accusing anyone of fraud. It's about closing loopholes before they become political weapons. And if the system is already secure, proving it shouldn't be something we're afraid of. Now, let's zoom out. This conversation isn't just about voter ID. It's about how California is governed and who benefits from the status quo. Which brings us to Governor Gavin Newsom. Depending on who you ask, Gavin Newsom is either the future of the Democratic Party or the embodiment of everything wrong with elite, one-party governance. Let's put personality aside. Let's put media narratives aside. Let's talk about results. Not that long ago, California had a budget surplus. Today, the state faces massive deficits. This didn't happen overnight, and it didn't happen because Californians suddenly became lazy or unproductive. It happened because spending commitments expanded faster than reality could support. That includes housing programs, social services, and yes, healthcare expansions. Many of these policies were sold as compassionate, as moral, as progressive. But compassion without limits eventually runs into math, and math doesn't care about press conferences. California has gone further than any other state in extending healthcare benefits to people who are not legally in the country. Again, this isn't a moral accusation. It's a policy fact. The intention may be humanitarian, but intentions don't pay the bills. Emergency medical services, Medi-Cal expansions, ambulance costs, all of these have surged. In just a few years, ambulance transport costs paid by taxpayers have increased by several 100%. That's not inflation. That's structural pressure. And now, quietly, California is doing something interesting. It's pulling back. New enrollments are being frozen. Fees are being discussed. Benefits are being scaled. If this model were truly sustainable, why would that be necessary? This is the part of the conversation that often gets avoided. It's easy to say we welcome everyone. It's harder to explain who pays and for how long. California also benefits from federal matching funds through Medicaid and other programs. The way the system works incentivizes states to expand spending because federal dollars follow. But that money doesn't come from nowhere. It comes from taxpayers in every state. When one state pushes the boundaries of federal programs, the consequences ripple nationwide. This is why what happens in California doesn't stay in California, and it's why Newsom's national ambitions deserve scrutiny. Gavin Newsom is often mentioned as a future presidential candidate. Maybe in 2028, maybe later. Here's the question voters outside California will ask. Do we want to scale this model nationally? A model where spending grows faster than revenue, where idealism repeatedly collides with fiscal reality, where policies are rolled back quietly after being sold loudly. This isn't about left versus right. It's about governance. It's about credibility. And it's about whether lessons are learned or ignored. The Voter ID initiative matters because it's one of the few ways Californians can directly push back against a political system that rarely faces meaningful resistance. Even if it fails, even if it's delayed, signing, debating, and voting on it sends a message. Accountability matters. Transparency matters. And elections should inspire confidence, not suspicion. You don't protect democracy by weakening its guardrails. You protect it by reinforcing them. You don't have to agree with everything I've said today. In fact, I hope you don't. Democracy works best when ideas are challenged, not censored. But the worst thing we can do is pretend these issues don't exist. California is a preview of where national politics could go, for better or worse. Whether that future works depends on whether we're willing to ask hard questions now. If you found this discussion thoughtful, not inflammatory, consider subscribing. And if you disagree, even better, leave a comment and let's talk. That's how democracy is supposed to work.